You will never get ahead of 99% of people, and that's the best thing that could ever happen to you. Now, let me explain. About a couple of months ago, I moved to Vancouver by myself, and this was my first time flying across the country blind, no friends, no family. It changed my perspective. Being alone in a city where I didn't know anyone, I've noticed that I've stopped comparing myself with people, and from being stuck in my hometown, it kept me stuck in the same thinking patterns. Why am I not as successful as I should be? Why am I so behind others? And maybe if I did more of this or achieved this, I would have made her like me more. My friends would think more highly of me. My parents would be more proud of me. I've always had this fear of being forgotten, and I've really struggled with this idea because I've been always scared about, what if I died today? Would people forget about me? Man, there's like some 13 reasons why shit right now. And have I really accomplished anything in my life? There are the greats that have contributed so much to society. They've inspired others, created innovations, and solved the world's problems. Yet the massive expansion of social media has allowed even a teenage girl who can make simple facial expressions gain similar validation to arguably Picasso, which really says something about society. I'm really holding back not to talk about the political economic state of the world right now. And you know what? As much as we complain about how lonely Gen Z is, I can guarantee you that you can relate with this, because the idea of even wanting to be ahead of others while comparing yourself with influencers online has not only led me down a path, but probably you to watch countless self-improvement YouTube videos or TikToks from the emergence of the red pill space. Countless videos on teaching young men on how to become the top 1% from health, fitness, fashion, advice on how to approach women, how to get rich, and it's usually from people who make money from teaching people how to make money. But with this rise of more people trying to improve themselves, I couldn't possibly disagree with the space who are so supportive and positive towards each other's self-improvement. And with all the sus jokes, maybe a little bit gay. And it's been clear that Gen Z, the age of people who are begging for this sense of mentorship and who are looking for father figures, might be the reason why you are looking to improve yourself. But before I found this online space, I was severely insecure, lacked so much confidence, and didn't have any goals or aspirations. And it was only finally when I found this community who finally gave me that praise and positive reinforcement to finally better myself and help me solve my issues and struggles. And that should be good, right? Well, after 3 years of being in self-improvement and using that as my prime coping mechanism instead of using video games, porn, junk food, I didn't really have a reason or the need to watch self-improvement content anymore, and yet I still consumed it religiously, and I followed up with the typical self-improvement habits like going to the gym, going to do cold showers, and journaling, because it made me feel good about myself, because I kind of felt like I was getting ahead of others, getting closer to the so-called idea of the 1%. It finally felt like young men were empathized, okay.
That most men live lives of quiet desperation. It's one of my favorite quotes ever because it's true. And I've been that guy.
Oh my God.
You're just in this world where you just can't wait to just run away.
I don't think most women can actually genuinely understand how lonely the majority of men are.
Yeah.
There are men out here in the world who have genuine loneliness.
And they felt empowered because they were no longer stigmatized for even using traditional masculine values and traits so that they can better themselves without being called toxic masculinity now. But the problem is that my initial pursuit for self-improvement was for the purpose of genuinely trying to turn my life in a positive direction. However, it somehow led me down a path of self-improvement culture from Gen Z that was only primarily focused on feeding the ego and getting caught up in echo chambers that was heavily leaning towards polarizing right-winged ideologies. You're using it to validate your loneliness and procrastination to feel better about yourself, and it's going to make you dependent on external validation and motivation. The manosphere that offers this masculine ideal provides young men the need for validation and confirmation and impersonal identities make you enslaved to external opinions and problems that can't be solved. Your true self, your authentic self, has no labels. That is why you feel like you need to make your parents proud. That is why you feel like you need to sleep with this other girl so that you can finally feel validated. And that is what makes people who are in this red pill enslaved to other people's opinions, which is not really a life that is virtuous, that it once promised. Now, self-destructing and fully accepting one's flawed nature and destroying this facade of external ideals and social constructs of hegemonic masculinity, so more traditional and hyper focused on masculinity that you see on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it makes you feel like it hedges the power and control that a man needs for financial, social, sexual success or to be dominant. And this is the very reason why young men feel frustrated with self-improvement, because they're trying to fulfill this idea which is deeply rooted from their lack of intimacy, sense of connection, and respect. And by them not being able to fulfill this ideal from social or economic validation, this creates their dependence for just minimizing this gap of the ideal. And all of this really made me think, like, how can young men who are so lost and out of direction navigate in a society that's so full of instant gratification and flawed ideals and always following these social constructs that are made online? And the problem is we can't discard masculinity altogether. It has a place in society. With traditional values, it makes society and culture more cohesive and as well as tighter in culture. And it drives individual self-improvement as well. And I come to think about 3 ways that we can make this a better way of approaching masculinity. First, we need to redefine healthier conceptions of masculinity and stop normalizing this hyper-masculinity that we see online and this external validation that it's derived from this lifestyle that we see. From the top G living this lifestyle, or the top 1% man, the high-value man lifestyle. And stop romanticizing this lifestyle because it only shows this external validation that you get. And people are always constantly just chasing after this lifestyle, but it's just a hamster wheel. Second is you gotta stop looking for salvation from other people's words and start finding the answers from yourself and not from external sources. The real salvation lies within you and not conforming from someone else's ideal or chasing this illusionary like top 1% lifestyle. And at some point, we must stop relying on solely external mentorship and start finding that confidence within you. All the times I'm like, oh, where can I find this new habit or trick or routine? And maybe this person on YouTube might help me out and maybe I'll get my shit together. You need to find that confidence within you and stop relying on people who are demonstrating this perfect lifestyle that they're depicting online, and start finding those answers from yourself. Now, finally, you need to start defining masculinity in your own personal journey. Don't let the people who are selling courses define masculinity for you and the societal pressures of hegemonic masculinity. So actually, as I was wrapping up my stay in Vancouver, I realized that I was able to distance myself from the expectations of others because I was living by myself. And I've realized that my friends and my family, they've set expectations that I've worked so hard trying to meet all my life, but being by myself in a city that I knew no one. But with this moment of realization for me, I've realized that the whole reason for my journey of self-improvement in the first place, in this red pill phase, was primarily driven by my desire to escape from the pressures that was imposed by external opinions. And it was a way for me to cope with the challenges brought by the weight of other people's expectations. But now that I've been able to successfully navigate out of this phase, I've realized that I don't need to seek for validation anymore from others in this pursuit for this 1% man, and being ahead of 99% of others was just simply an empty quest constructed by the extreme ideals from the manosphere. However, living by myself, I've realized that this shit didn't solve all my problems, but it made it worse. Everything from the constant external motivation that I had at home, I didn't really have any more goals that I wanted to pursue. This made me fall down to the path of instant gratification and pleasure from social media, porn, dating apps, all together again. So I found myself at crossroads, wondering how would I keep myself accountable and where do I even go next? If I go back to the self-improvement and red pill path, it only made me seem like I would define my self-worth from dating validation, and it would just continuously feed my ego, where that would just limit me. Or if I went back to modern day self-improvements, it would just feel like I would be pulled back into the cult-like mentality and just taken away from my free thinking and individuality. And this was a really big problem for me because I really prioritized self-improvement in using those habits that I learned from those self-improvement YouTube videos from YouTube, and as well as from the red pill phase. And if I didn't go back, I would be risking falling back into a long cycle of instant gratification, and I would be consistently struggling like I did before from my journey of self-improvement. So I decided to forge my own way, and I came up with this idea called the clear pill. And you might be thinking, fuck, another pill? Really? Like, is this another gimmick that's inspired from the Matrix or another self-help scheme? No, the clear pill goes beyond all that shit, and it transcends binary thinking. Instead of focusing on the polarizing sides, the clear pill connects like-minded individuals who only want to prioritize their self-improvements, their purpose, and independent thinking. This philosophy behind this movement is simple. Find your purpose to stay motivated. To discover your purpose, you need to address what I call the 4 pillars of clarity: mental health, physical health, relationships, and school/work. Once you progress through all of these areas, you'll actually have the clarity to pursue your purpose and actually contribute to society positively. And that's why having a purpose is so important, because it allows you to not fall back into the instant gratification trap and all the pleasures of the modern era, as well as it helps you not fall into echo chambers of either polarizing sides and makes you just focused on your purpose. So make sure you have all the 4 pillars of clarity in check so that you have the clarity in order to find your purpose. But to stay on your purpose, you need to make sure that you have accountability. So that's why I created the Clear Pill community, and the link is in the description. I created a Discord and a Reddit so that you can have more conversations with more like-minded people, and as well as for them to keep you accountable to make sure you're on your shit for your purpose. I also have a bunch of videos talking about the Clear Pill, as well as if you want to learn more information about how you can achieve the 4 pillars of clarity. I wish you good luck, boys, on your purpose, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.